India and its neighborhood, India-China. India-China border dispute. Wine news. The border tensions between India and China come to the forefront once again, following the ongoing standoff between India and China in North Sikkim and Ladakh region, across the line of actual control. India-China border disputes. The border between India and China is not clearly demarcated throughout. There is no mutual agreement on line of actual control. The line of actual control is the demarcation that separates India controlled territory from Chinese controlled territory. India considers LAC to be 3,488 km long, while Chinese consider it to be 2,000 km. The line of actual control is divided into three sectors, that is, Western sector, Middle sector, and Eastern sector. The boundary dispute in the Western sector, that is Ladakh, pertains to the Johnson Line, proposed by the British in the 1860s, that extended up to the Kunlun Mountains and put Aksai Chin in the then princely state of Jammu Kashmir. The boundary dispute in the Western sector Ladakh pertains to the Johnson Line, proposed by the British in the 1860s, that extended up to the Kunlun Mountains and put Aksai Chin in then princely state of Jammu Kashmir. India used the Johnson Line and claimed Aksai Chin as its own. India used the Johnson Line and claimed Aksai Chin as its own. China, however, do not recognize it and instead accepts McDonald Line, which puts Aksai Chin under its control, means in China's control. In the middle sector, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the dispute is minor one. Here, LAC is the least controversial except for the precise alignment to be followed in the Barahoti Plains. India and China have exchanged map on which they broadly agree. The dispute boundary in the eastern sector, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim, is over McMahon Line in Arunachal Pradesh, decided in 1914 in a meeting of representatives of China, India, Tibet in Shimla. Though the Chinese representatives at the meeting initiated the agreement, they subsequently refused to accept it. The Tawang Tract claimed by China was taken over by India in 1951. India-China water relations. Recently, there have been reports that China plans to build run-of-the-river dams on Zarlung Zangbo, the tributary of Brahmaputra, called Siang in China. This has reinvigorated the debate on India-China water relation. More in news. Yarlung Zangbo, the tributary of Brahmaputra, called Siang in China. Yarlung Zangbo river is originated in Lungpo Gangri Glacier in northwest Tibetan Plateau. Run of the River Project. Run of the River Project is a type of hydroelectric generation whereby the natural flow and elevation drop of a river are used to generate electricity. Run of the River Project is a type of hydroelectric generation where the natural flow and elevation drop of a river are used to generate electricity. Current status of India-China water relationship. Transborder river flowing from China to India falls into two main groups. The Brahmaputra river system, on the eastern side consisting river Siang, mainstream of river Brahmaputra and its tributaries Subansiri and Lohit. The Brahmaputra river system on the eastern side consists of river Siang, mainstream of river Brahmaputra and its tributaries, that is Subansiri and Lohit. And second one is the Indus river system on the western side consisting of river Indus and the river Satluj. Indus river system on the western side consisting of river Indus and river Satluj. There is no institutionalized mechanism on water cooperation between India and China. There is no institutionalized mechanism on water cooperation between India and China. River system in the Tibetan Plateau. The Tibetan Plateau is often called the third pole. Tibetan Plateau is often called the third pole, owing to its glacial expanses and vast reserves of fresh water falling can be cited as key feature of this system. It is a source of 7 of the South Asia's largest rivers. It is the source of 7 of the South Asia's largest rivers, that is Indus, Ganges, Brahmaputra, Irrawaddy, Salween, Yangtze, Mekong. The rivers flow into Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, and from the largest river runoff from any single location. It is estimated that 718 billion cubic meters of surface water flows from the Tibetan Plateau and Chinese administered regions of Xinjiang and Inner Mongolia to the neighboring countries each year. Next is new security law in Hong Kong. Recently, China's National People Congress approved Hong Kong National Security Law. One country, two systems. One country, two system policy was originally proposed to unify China and Taiwan, which was rejected by Taiwan. The idea resurfaced when Chinese started talks with Britain and Portugal, who were running Hong Kong and Macau, respectively as colonies. Under one country, two system model, China proposed that Hong Kong and Macau can have different economic and political system from that of mainland China while being part of China. Likewise, Hong Kong returned to Chinese control in 1997 and Macau's sovereignty was transferred in 1999. Both regions become special administrative regions of China. Hong Kong and Macau, both regions became special administrative regions of China with their own currencies, economic and legal systems, but defense and foreign affairs would be decided by China. Also, Hong Kongers have freedom of assembly and speech and some democratic rights. Hong Kongers have freedom of assembly and speech and some democratic rights which are not available in mainland China. These freedoms are protected by the Basic Law, a mini constitution that guides the relationship between Hong Kong and China. A mini constitution that guides the relationship between Hong Kong and China. Basic Law is valid for 50 years. Basic Law is valid for 50 years till 2047 for Hong Kong and 2049 for Macau. But it is unclear that what will happen after this term. Basic Law can be amended with 2/3 majority in Hong Kong's legislature, LACO. Next is Tibetan Policy and Sport Act. The US Senate passed the Tibetan Policy and Sport Act (TPSA) of 2020, outlining United States policy on Tibet. About Tibetan Policy and Sport Act. Tibetan Policy and Sport Act addresses Tibetan human rights, environment rights, religious freedoms, and the democratic Tibetan government in exile. Tibetan Policy and Sports Act addresses Tibetan human rights, environmental rights, religious freedoms, and the democratic Tibetan government in exile. It formally recognizes the Central Tibetan Administration. As the legitimate representative of Tibetan people. It will pave the way for the US government to issue economic and visa sanctions against any Chinese officials who interfere with the succession of the Dalai Lama. The Tibetan Policy and Sport Act also introduces new key provisions aimed at protecting the environment and water resources on Tibetan Plateau. The Tibetan Policy and Sport Act also introduces new key provisions aimed at protecting the environment and water resources on Tibetan Plateau. In addition, it calls for greater international cooperation to monitor the environment on the Tibetan Plateau. Geostrategic and geopolitical importance of Tibet. Tibet is the world's highest and largest plateau, covering an area of 2.5 million square kilometers with an average elevation of more than 4,000 meters above sea level. Its entire southern rim is flanked by the Himalayas. The world's highest mountain chain, thus the landmass, constitutes a formidable buffer or barrier for any power operating beyond Tibet. The environmental importance of Tibet arises from the fact that it plays a major role in the Asian monsoon and holds largest concentration of glaciers outside of the two poles that feed the major river systems that sustain millions downstream. Tibet has always been a place of geostrategic prominence in the eyes of the regional as well as superpowers. In the early 20th century, British India adopted its forward policy towards Tibet for expanding her market to establish Tibet a buffer against the Tsarist Russia threat to India. Presently, as per popular perception, China considers Tibet as the palm and Ladakh, Nepal, Sikkim, Bhutan, Arunachal Pradesh as five fingers. The incumbent and the 14th Dalai Lama has been living in exile in India ever since the Tibet was occupied by the Chinese People Liberation Army in 1950-51. He has been leading the movement for genuine autonomy for Tibet and the Tibetans.